Good afternoon, good evening, good night from where or when you're watching this video. This is John from IT Skills Academy, and we've been creating the pharmacy management system where I have been adding a new video about this every Tuesday of the week. I have so far added 10 videos which are cool, and in this video I just thought of first of all summarizing what you have done so far. And if you're watching these for the first time, I would recommend that you first of all watch the other 10 videos that I have created. The link to the playlist is in the description of this video. So to get started, the first thing that we created is the login system. So the login system now included the login form, the registration form, the pharmacy information form, and the pharmacy account form. So the two are just to help us to collect the pharmacy information or general information and account information respectively. So we are now on the registration form, and I just want to show you how this is going, so that if this is something that interests you, you can go and watch those other videos, then you get back to this so that we can continue creating the pharmacy management system. So this is just to help you guys understand how far we have gone. So as you can remember, we created this registration form, and this is where a person can be able to register, and I'll do that practically so that you can be able to see. So I will just come and give it the username. So this is the name that a person will be using to log in. I'm giving now the password, so I'll just come and call it pharmacy. Maybe I can click on this to see it. Yeah, so this should be pharmacy, and the password should be the same. Just want to have the same password here. You can put any, and the role should be pharmacist. So pharmacist, like that, and then we can hit on register. So upon registering, if you're doing this for the first time, you'll be required to put the pharmacy general information. So like when you're registering, always you'll be required to provide the pharmacy general information, but this is a one-time thing. So here you're just going to come and put the pharmacy information, general information, like the name. So we can just come and call this maybe pharmacy. So like that, and we're also going to provide the address. So maybe I can just come and say PO Box 180 Kenya, and the phone number, I can just put any phone number here, and the email, maybe I can just come and call it ePharmacy at gmail.com. Then I continue. So next I'm required to put the pharmacy account information, so like the pharmacy opening date, you can call it in a name. Yeah, so maybe I will say that it started January of this year. That will be on maybe the 1st, and the closing will be next year 2022 January 1st. Yeah, and the opening balance, maybe I can just come and put 800,000, and for the closing, for now I can just put 0, and then I submit. So that now will take us to the dashboard with a summary of all that information. As you can see here, we have the business year like we have provided, and we also have the opening balance as well. And as we continue, we're also going to have the name of the pharmacy appearing here, just like we have provided. So this is basically the dashboard. As you can see, it has a summary of the product sales, the medicine, all the types of medicines that we have added, the expired products or drugs or medicine, can call it anything. We have the account payable because we'll be dealing with suppliers. We want to know how much we owe them. The transactions, like we want to track the transactions of every day. We also have the button here to add patients, like if you want to issue patients or prescribe some drugs to patients, you may want to have a database of those patients, so you can add. We also have the same on the side bar here. So here we have the information of the pharmacy, as you can see, pharmacy system. So we're also going to have this information coming from the database. So we are still creating this dashboard. We started creating it in part 10, where we were able to now get this information from the database, if you can remember, guys. So we're still building this. So as I've promised, we are going to have this coming from the database, these as well, including the user here, and all that. So this is another button to add the patients, so it's just for quick access. And we also have the stock. So like if I click on the pharmacy stock here, I'm able to see the drugs that we have in the pharmacy. So what I've done is we have pharmacy stock, and we also have the store stock. So like the pharmacy stock is like what you have in the shelves, and the store is now what you have in your store, so you can maybe be able to track all those. So we have all that, and this button we added here is the one that you'll be using to requisition or get drugs from the store to the shelves or to the pharmacy stock. So that will be there. So far we have the two, and you can see also we have the paginated. You have the paginated pages there. So yeah, and it is working very fine. So I can go to the previous one, and yeah, so we have it moving back like that. So we can try maybe to edit one. Let me just try to edit the tablet, the Piriton rather. Maybe I try to have this with a capital T. Let's update that and see if that will work. Yeah, and as you can see, that has been updated successfully. So that is working. We can also be able to delete. So if I hit on this, I'll be deleting this, but I don't want to delete it for now. So that is the pharmacy stock, and we also have the store. So like this is the stock that we have, and this is how it looks like. So we have the medicine information being displayed like that. We have the medicine type, we have the price, and we can also now be able to, as we are going to see later, we have not yet created this, receive this medicine or drug from the supplier. So we'll be doing that in a moment. So we'll also be adding the suppliers as well, so that when you're receiving, you also select from you also select from a list of suppliers that you have. Yeah, so we also have if say for example I just come and click on add drugs here, we have a form that can help us to add medicine. So for instance, I can maybe just come and have a test medicine name, the capacity maybe I can give it 60 ml, and the type maybe I can say is a tablet, and then I hit on submit, and this now takes me to the store, because basically that will be added to the store. So we don't have it here because we are viewing 10 drugs per page. So when I click on the next, because this is paginated, I should now be able to see the drug that I have just added, and when you're starting, the price will be 0. So you will be adding the price when you receive it from the supplier. Alright, so that is what we have done so far. If we say that we want to add the patients, I can go to add patients here. Sorry, let me that one we have not fixed. Let's just go to the dashboard here. So when you go to the dashboard, we can be able to add a patient. So like if I hit on add patient, so we can be able to come and have the patient name, and as you can see, on top here we are having the patient with a unique number. So this is being generated automatically, so that every patient has a unique number. So if you want to know how we go about or we did this, just watch the playlist. A link will be in the description of this video so that you can understand how we did this. So for now, if we come and add the patients, we'll be taken back to the dashboard. And so in this video, what we want to do is to be able to display the patients, because we've already created the script that will help us to add the patients. As you can see, if I click on this, so and the patients are being added to the database. So like if I take you to the database that we are using, I have called it pharmacy. So we are loading that now. So I just want to show you the table that we have, and so that you see we already have some patients added there. So and so in this video, basically what we want to be able to do is to display those patients, and we don't just want to display them, we want to display only those who have not been attended to. We only want to display those patients that we have not attended to. And so in our table patients, we have a column named pharmacy, or named status, if you can remember that. And so these specific status column is helping us to know if the patient has been attended to or not, if the patient has been attended to or not. So basically what we are doing is we're just having it with two values, 0 and 1. So if the value is equals to 0, that means the client has not been attended to, and if it is equal to 1, then it means the patient has been attended to. And so we'll just be echoing the patient whose status is equal to 0, whose status is equals to 0. So as you can see here, we are now viewing the patient table. So we have all this information, and one of the very important columns we have is the status. And as you can see, a majority of them are 1. That means we have seen all of these, and the only 2 patients who have not been seen are 3. So these are the patients that we want to be able to display on our dashboard, so that we can be able to attend to them, so that's basically what we want to do in this. And just maybe to show you what we have done, or if this is working, the adding patients. So I can just come and try to have maybe a sample patient. This will be maybe 4. Maybe we give him a phone number and a date of birth here. Maybe we can say this person was born on which year, maybe 2012, February 23rd. Yes, and this person is from Kenya. And then we submit that. So that should be added into the database. And so far we are not going to see anything, because we have not yet written the script to help us to pull that data here, and that's what we are doing in this video. But if I can just head on to the database or the table patients, we just try to refresh that. We just want to see if that patient has been added and how the patient has been added, putting our focus on the status column. As you can see, this patient here, the sample patient 4 from Kenya, and the date of birth there, and by default these will be 0. So if you want to know how we did this, again I just encourage you to watch the playlist that we've just that I've just mentioned. The description is in the link is in the description of this video rather. Alright, so enough of the talk. Now we want to be able to write the script that will help us to display those patients who have not been attended to. Alright, let's do that. Well, so what you're seeing on your screen is the ITSKILLSACADEMY.php page. So this is the dashboard page, if I may just show you. So this is the page that we are viewing. It's called in my very best IDE, that is Visual Studio Code. I may recommend you to use this Visual Code text editor or IDE, because one, it is free, two, it is very easy to use, and then you can customize it the way you want, and it also has like auto completions, if I may call them that just helps you to quickly and easily write your code, as you've been seeing, or as you're going to see in this video. So enough of the talk, let's just get started. So this is the patients are waiting. As you can see, I've just commented that on top here. And so the first thing that I want to be able to do here is to not just have the table right away, but just have the structure for the table, or that will hold the table rather. So first of all, in this case, as you can see, or as you're going to see, we are utilizing Bootstrap. So I'm going to create a few divs here and give them some various Bootstrap classes that will help us in the styling of this page, because we've linked to the bootstrap.css. Alright, so we just come and create a div with a class of row. So now within the row we are going to have a column. So this will be the 12 bootstrap columns. So just come and say col 12. And so now as you can see, this is the advantage of the Visual Studio. As I've been telling you, there is a very unique name for that. For me, I just call it autocomplete. Yeah, I think there's an official name for it. So again, we are going to come and have this within a card. So again, this is a Bootstrap way of styling your pages. So we have the card there. So if you're not aware of the Bootstrap cards, you can just try and Google that, and the Bootstrap page will help you in doing that or understanding that even better. So so within the card, we're also going to have it with a body. So here I'm just going to come and say card body. So so this is now where we are going to have some content. So and now within that, we are going to come and have the title of the card, like where we're going to have the title of the page. So we can have this in the h4 tag there. So just hit that. So basically what I'm just doing is I'm writing, like in this case, h4, and then pressing the tab or the enter. So that auto completes everything. Yeah, just in case you're not aware of that. And if I want to give it a class, I can just come and have it like h4 dot, and then the name of the class, in this case card title. So I can just come and say title. And so now after that, you're going to notice this stuff appear here. So you can hit the tab on your keyboard or the enter, and then basically that's what will happen. So now here I just come and have the title. So in this case, I'll just call it patients awaiting. Alright, so we have it like that. So moving on swiftly, so that will be the title. Now what we want to now be able to do is, or what we want to do right now is to start the table. So to be able to do that, so we're just going to come and have the table just starting from somewhere down here. So, and this still within the card. So for our table, it will be within a div that will have a class of table responsive. So So this is just again for styling, so responsive, and it is now within that div that we're going to have our table. So the table again will have a class of table. So I'll just come and say table.table. So that will help me create a table with a class of table basically. So just like that, and we're also going to come and give it another class here, so v-middle. So now of course now inside here we are going to have the table head, so I can just come and say table or t head rather. And now within the t head we are going to come and have our first row, so that will be tl, and we want to give it a background color, so maybe we can just say tl bg right, so that will just give it a light color. So if I just press that, we have the TL with that. So now within the TL we are going now to have the table headings, and we're going to have at least 4 of them. So again I'm going to write th *4, so that will give us 4 column headings. So when I press the tab, as you can see, so the first thing that I want to have there is the patient number, and the other one will be so this will be the patient name, and we also want to show the patient date of birth, so we can say date of birth. And we also want to show the action, so here I'm going to come and have the action, and that's all for the table heading or the t head. And the other one now will be the t body, so we're just going to come and have that just below the t head, so we are going to have the t body, so I just come and write t body. And now within the t body, as usual, we're going to have the table row first, so I create a TL, and now within that we want to come and have the table column, so again we have the TD, and again we want to have the 4 of them, so that will be coming from the database. So for now we can just leave it as that, and we are going to have the PHP code somewhere here. So now we can just head on to the browser and see how that looks like so far. So I just head on there and refresh. Yes, cool, and this is what we have. So the patient number, patient name, and date of birth. Oh sorry, we need to collect that, and then we have the action, so that's cool. So let me just come and collect these over here. So this should be th and not ht, so the date of birth, so that is looking good. So now we want to be able to fetch these patients from the database. So to be able to do that, of course, we're just going to go below our t head here, and first of all what we want to do is to have the PHP opening and closing tags. So how I like writing this in a simpler way is I just come and have these arrow brackets like that. I put some 2 question marks inside that, and then I say PHP. So that will have me with the opening and closing PHP tags. So now within the PHP closing and opening tags, what we want to be able to do is to first of all include the connection to the database. Maybe I can also comment that out, and remember, if you want to write a comment within PHP, we just put 2 forward slashes, so that will help you to have a single comment, a single line comment. So maybe I can just come and say include a database connection. Well, so just collecting that over there. So we have our database in a folder named includes. So that is outside the dashboard. Right now we are within the dashboard folder, and the connection to the database is outside that. So how we are going to have that is we are going to get out of the dashboard folder and then get into the includes folder, where we have the con.php, which is a script that is helping us to connect to the database. So to be able to do that, I'll just come and say require, and we are requiring the connection to the database, which is in a page we've called con. This page is outside of the dashboard, so I just write it like that, and then I just come and say includes and / again, and here I just come and write the name of the page, which is con.php. So I should not forget to add that with a semicolon. So let me just show you the page here so that you can clearly understand what I mean and how you can be able to write a path, just in case you don't know how to be able to do that. Feel free to skip this part if you already know how to go about that. So right now you can see we are in the index.php, which is within the dashboard folder, as it can see, you can be able to see from on top here. Now the connection to the database is not within that folder. Actually it is outside the dashboard. So if I scroll down here, you're going to see that we have another include folder here, which is outside the dashboard here. So if I can just point on that, you can see it is directly within our main project folder, which is pharmacy management system include. So if I expand that, you should now be able to see the con.php. So now we want to get out of from the index.php and come to this page. So to be able to do that, we are getting out, and to be able to do that, we are writing period / include, and actually this one should be include and not includes. Yeah, otherwise that would have resulted into an error. Alright, so that's it. So that's how you can be able to write a path. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue. Now that we have the connection to the database, we want now to write the select statement that will help us to select the patients from the database and display them here. So to be able to do that, I'm creating a variable. I will call it SQL. You can give it any name, and this will be equal to double quotes. I always want to close that PHP statement before I even write it. Now within here, I'm now going to have the select, and we want to be able to select all. So to be able to select all, I'm writing that as italic. So select all, and we are selecting all from the patients table. So I write patients table, and I don't want all the patients. I only want the patients whose status is equals to 0. As I had mentioned, those patients whose status is equals to 0 are those patients that we have not attended to, and those are the patients that we want to see for now. So I will just come and see where, and this will be where the status, so the status is equal to, so we're just equating this to 0, and this 0 should be within the single quote because it is a value. So 0, just like that. Otherwise, if you don't put it within, that might result into an error. Alright, so that's it. And now we want now to be able to write the MySQL query. To be able to do that, we're going to create a variable and call it res for results, and this is where we are going to have the MySQLi underscore query. And here we are first of all going to check if the connection to the database was successful. So we are requiring the con. So this is the connection to the database. So we are requiring the variable con. So this variable con is within the script that is helping us to connect to the database. Let me see if I can be able to show you that right now. So right now I'm opening the con.php so that I can show you this variable that we are trying to call here. So as you can see, we have this variable con which has the script that is helping us to connect to the database, which is giving us the password, the host, the user, and most importantly the name of the database from where we want to correct data or fetch data from. So let's get back to the index.php, and just to be able to create some space here, I'm just going to come and just collapse that there, and now we can continue. So we also want to come and see if we were able to select all the patients from the patients table with the help of the connection to the database. So to be able to do that, we are also going to come and test the SQL variable here. So we are going to come and have that as well. So SQL, and we should not again forget to close that statement as well. So again, if you don't close there, it will just result into problems. Alright, now we want to check if there are any records in the patients table. We want to check if we have any records in the patients table. So to be able to do that, we are going to write an if statement. So I'll just come and say if, and we want to check if the less or the variable less is equal true. So I'm saying res, variable res or result is equal true. So if it is equal to true, then it means we have some records there. And now what we want to do, if we have the records there, we want to count how many there are. So we are going to create a variable called count. Rather, this should be in small letters. So we want to create a variable called count, and to be able to count the records, we are going to write the MySQLi underscore num underscore rows. So I'm writing MySQLi underscore num underscore rows. So and we are counting the rows in the information that we have stored in the variable results. So remember, we have fetched the records from the database and we have stored them in this variable called res, and now here we want to count them. So to be able to count them, we are going to have the MySQLi underscore num underscore rows having the parameter res. So that is now to enable it to count the number of rows. So we should not forget to close that statement as well. Now, if the count is greater than 0, so if the result that we get here is anything above 0, we want now to be able to fetch those records. So we don't want to fetch 0 records, so that's why we are checking if the count is greater than 0. So we are saying if, another if statement. Actually, this is a nested if statement because it is within the within an if statement. So I'm going to come and have the if statement with the condition of the count variable, and we want to check if this is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0. So if it is greater than 0, then we want to use the while loop to loop through all the records that we have, and have them echoed in the database. So to be able to do that, we're just going to come and say while. So I'm now writing the while loop, and as you can see, this is the advantage with the Visual Studio Code. If I just come and hit the tab like that, I'm just going to come and have the syntax for the while loop. So even if you don't understand it, it will just give you that basic understanding that you require to understand the syntax of anything, in this case the while loop. So the first thing that you need to have within the parameters of the while loop is the codation. So the codation here will be rows, or the variable rows. If remember, we've already counted the rows, so we now want to fetch the records in those rows. So if we are saying rows is equal to, so we are not saying if it is less than equal to, so we're just going to come and remove that sign. And so instead of 10, we're just now going to come and have MySQLi, because we want to fetch those records. We don't just want to assume they are 10. So we are saying SQLi underscore fetch underscore sock. So this is an associative array. So we are just like storing the records in some sort of an associative array. So here we're just going to come and say res. So because it is we just want to have the results that we collected from here. So now the code now within the while loop is we'll be creating some variables where we are going to store the records that we have corrected, or that we have in this specific array. So the first one will be ID, and this will be equal to rows rows ID. So we are saying rows ID because we have the variable rows here. So if you use row, then you also have to use row here. If you use rows, then it should be rows. So rows, and this is the row ID. So we want to collect all the records that we have in the ID row. So so this should be within the square brackets like that, and so here I should have ID. So we want now to have the patient number, the patient name, the date of birth and all that. So to save time, we're just going to come and duplicate this, and in Visual Studio, if you just want to duplicate a row, you can highlight it, hold Shift and Alt, and then the arrow pointing downwards, so on your keyboard. So just like that. So now I can just come and change a few stuff here. So instead of ID here, we should have a patient number, and we should also have the same here, because we are storing what we have in the row patient number in this variable here, so that whenever we echo this, we get what we have in this row. Hope you're getting this. So you just need to do more practice with it so that you can understand how it goes. But if you're understanding, well and good. So number, and the other one here should be patient what? You guessed it right, the patient name. So patient name, and lastly we have the date of birth. So the date of birth, so for the date of birth we can just say DOB, and the same here, the DOB. date of birth. So now we already have the records stored in the various variables. So now what we are just left to do is to echo them in our table. And to be able to do that, basically what we are going to do is just below here, we want to come and embed a HTML code. So to be able to embed a HTML code within PHP, what we do is we first of all terminate the PHP. So like we just write the PHP closing tag. So we have just ended that. So here we have closed that here. And don't make a mistake to just have only one, because we now already have this one. So we also need to close or have an opening for this closing part here. So just below here, just to make it simple, we're also going to come and have another opening PHP tag. So that means now that we have the opening PHP tag and closing one, we have the closing PHP tag, and we have the opening on top there, somewhere here. So now we are now going to come and have the PHP or rather the HTML code for the T body, because that's where we want to have the records displayed from the database. So I'm just going to come and highlight this, and in fact I'm going to cut it, and I'm just going to come and have that just within here, because now within here we don't have any PHP stuff, so we can just have our HTML stuff within that. But because we have it wrapped in a way, then we'll be able to echo this record, because we have this and the one on top there, the PHP opening and closing tags. So now I can just come and paste that information or that HTML code there. And if we just head on to the browser right now, we may want to see what we have so far. So let me just head on to the browser and I refresh the same, because we want to see what we are just going to have over there even before we have the records. So it is showing us nothing. It's showing us absolutely nothing. So let me just try to have some dummy data inside there. So that is now within the TD, that is the table column. So let me just come and put maybe a name here. I just want to show you how this works so that you can understand it bit by bit. So you can just come and write John Doe there, and then I head on to the browser. I try to refresh it. We still have nothing. That means we have a problem somewhere that we need to fix. We need to fix that specific problem over there. Okay, so I've just gone through the code and I have noticed that we have omitted one very important word here. So this is from, so we should have written it select all from the patients where. So we need to inside here come and include the from, and it's good practice that you have it in capital letters, although if you do otherwise it might not bring any different results, but it's good just have it in capital letters there. So let's see if that will have the problem fixed. So I refresh that. Well, and that's what we have. So why is this the case? This because we at least have 4 records whose status is equal to 0. So if you may just head on to the patients, I just want to show you what this looks like and where we are seeing those records there. We are going to have the real records, so this is just for the understanding. So as you can see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's why we are having the for here. So now that means that everything is working fine. So now we want to come and have the real records, so like the names, or like the location, like all that information. So this is just giving us the sense that everything is working fine and we can be able to select the information as we want. So now to be able to echo the real data, so what we are going to do right here is we're going to come and have the PHP opening and closing tags. And just as I've shown you how I easily do it, I have the square angles, and then I can just have two question marks and then PHP. So now rather this should be small letters. Okay, so that will basically help me with the closing and or rather the opening and closing tags. Alright, so this should be, it's not small letters, yeah, like that. Alright, so now here I can just come and echo now the patient number. So to be able to do that, I'll just come and say echo, and basically I'll be echoing the variable that we have just created on top here. If I may just show you that, so the patient number, yeah, the patient number. So this, remember, was coming from the database, yeah. So we corrected that. So we collected that from the database. We stored it here, and we stored it. Right, so we're just going to come and echo the patient number, so the variable that we have on top here. So I'll just come and say patient underscore number. So I should also not forget to close that tag as well. Yeah, so maybe to help you clearly understand this, we are doing this, so we just have it like that. So I think that can be easier to read. Alright, so now because we want the patient number, we want the patient name and the patient date of birth, as usual we are going to duplicate this, and the way we are duplicating this is we are highlighting it, holding Shift Alt and then the arrow pointing down on our keyboard. So that will help us to duplicate that, and we're just going to come and have the three of them, so yes, like that. And so here we just come and echo not the patient number but now the patient name. So I'll just come and edit this a little bit and say the patient name, and for this one, instead of again the patient number, we want to have the patient date of birth. So I'm just again going to have the DOB. Yes, you guessed it right. So that's all that we need for now. So alright, so as you can now see, we have the date of birth appearing well. Yeah, so now we want to have the action. So this will be the button that a person will click to attend to this specific patient. So to be able to do that, we are going to have yet another column here, so the TD. So I'll duplicate that with by Shift Alt arrow, and now here, instead of echoing, we are going to have the button. So to be able to have the button, what we are going to do is we're going to come and create an anchor tag with a class of btn. So I'll write a dot btn. So this basically gives us something that looks like this. And so for the pad here, we'll be going to maybe what we can call, we have not yet created this page, the prescription page. So this is where the client now will be attended to, like he or she will be issued with the drugs that has been prescribed to him. And to be able to make this a full button, we are going to come and give it a class of btn, and which color do you think we can give to this? Let me just give it red, so that when the client is attended to, maybe and you want to show them, you can have it in another color. Let me just have it with red for now. And for the name, we can have it as attend, or you can just have it with any other name that you want. But before we continue, we also want to have the patient number, so that we are able to only attend to that patient, or only attend to one patient at a time. So to be able to do that, we want to be able to get that unique patient number. So to be able to do that, we are going to come and have within the href in the page where we will be prescribing medicine. Basically what we want to do here, just to keep it simple, we want to pass the patient number through the URL. So to be able to do that, here we are going to come and have the PHP opening and closing tags, and what we want to basically do is to echo the patient number. So I'm just going to come and say patient number. Yeah, so just like that, and I should also not forget to close that as well. So this now means that if maybe let's first of all refresh that, so that we can see if we got the button there. Well, we have the button. So if I point at the button, as you're going to see below as you're going to see now below the browser on the left corner, we have the prescription.php, and then the invoice number is that. So now to be able to collect it, we're just going to come and have just between here, we're just going to come and have a question mark, and then we come and say patient underscore number is equal, so that now when you go to the prescription page, we're just going to come and have this, like the patient number. Yeah, like we'll be able to collect the patient number using this name here. So we'll see how that happens in our next video, so don't worry. Alright, so if again we refresh that, I'm heading back to the browser. So if we refresh that, at the bottom left corner of the browser, if I point on the button, you're going to see that now we have the prescription.php question mark patient number is equals to, and then now we have that specific number, and that is unique to, yeah, every patient has a unique number. So that is a page that we have not yet created, but we'll be creating it in a moment. So this is what we all I wanted to. Alright, so that marks the end of this video. We've been able to display the patients, and these are the patients that we have not attended to yet. And if I may just give you an overview maybe of what we'll be doing in our next video, when a client is attended to, the status of that client or patient will be changing to 1, and that means that you will not be able to see that client anymore. So for instance, we have Maggie here. So if I head on to the browser, or rather into the database, I'll change that manually, although that will be changed automatically when the client is attended to. If I go to Maggie here and I edit Maggie, so I'm just editing or attempting to edit Maggie, and I want to change the status for now manually to 1. So I'll just scroll to status and I change that to 1. and I save that. So basically this will mean that Maggie has been attended to, and she will not be appearing in this list here. So let me just come and refresh that, and upon refreshing that, you can now see that Maggie is all has been discharged. So that's what we'll be doing in our next video, showing you how you can now be able to attend to these clients, issue them with some drugs or medicine. The medicines should be subtracted from the stock, of course, and if the client or the patient is successfully discharged, he or she should disappear from this list here. Now, before I conclude this video, we also want to show the user of this system a statement when we don't have any patients who are awaiting. Like if all the patients has or have been attended to, we want to tell the user that no patients are awaiting. And to be able to do that, we're going to go to the nested if statement here, and here we said that if the count is greater than 0, then perform this. But now we can just come and say if the count is less than 0, then it means we don't have any records, and that will mean that we don't have any patients awaiting. So in this, we can just come and say if the count is greater than 0, then do this, else just tell the person that we don't have any records. So I can just now come below here. How I have done that is I've just clicked that curly bracket there. So this opening curly bracket here. So if it is equal to, or if it is greater than 0, we are having all that code inside that. And now we are saying else if it is not. So we are scrolling down here, and we now want to come and say else. So we are writing the else, and of course this should come with its own set of curly brackets. So just like that, and here we can just have some text, and maybe to just help in styling it, we can embed HTML code. And if it is HTML code, as I have mentioned, we are going to first of all close the HTML or the PHP tag, and we open it there, and then now we have the freedom of attaching some HTML code now inside here. And so I'm just going to have this in a paragraph, and maybe this paragraph can have a class. So maybe you can just come and say class is equals to read. Just going to see how that looks like. And here maybe we can just come and say no patients awaiting. So sorry, no patients are waiting. We don't need this. Just like that. So let's okay, for now it will not show anything because all the patients, or we have some records. So let's try to edit all of them and make which is the easiest way. Let me just delete all those that have the zeros, so that we are left with only those who have been attended to, or where the status is equals to 1. Remember, we are only calling the patients whose status is equals to 0. So I'm just deleting these, so that now we see if all the clients have been attended to, what are we going to see on the browser. So I just confirm the deleting of those records there. And so now if I come here and refresh, yeah, this is what we are going to have. No patients are awaiting. Yes, but if we have say one patient who we have not attended to, let's maybe edit the John Walker. For now we are editing it manually, but we'll be doing this, of course, with the help of some code. Like, you will not be required to edit it manually, so I'm just doing this for the sake of showing you what we'll be doing in our next video. So so that has been edited, so the status now is equals to 0. That means now if we come and refresh this, we should not see the no patients awaiting, rather we should now see that patient, and we don't have that statement anymore. So all that will be happening when we click this attend and attend the patient or to the patient successfully. Alright, so that's it for this long video. Hope it was helpful. If it was, kindly consider subscribing, share it with your friends, like it, leave your comments if you have any questions in the comment section, and let's see you in the next one. Yeah, take care.